Well, hello there and welcome to the channel. If you are new here, thank you for joining us. My name is Kat, and on here we talk about style, fashion, shopping, stuff like that. If that sounds cool, I would love to have you here more often. So be sure to subscribe, like this video, do all those YouTube things, and without further ado, let's get into it. Today we are heading into Nordstrom to try on some pieces that they have from Farm Rio. So if you are curious about quality, fabrication, fit, sizing, which can be somewhat tricky sometimes with Farm Rio, I am here to help you out. So let's go in and check it out. Truth be told, I don't shop at Nordstrom very often. Nordstrom Rack a bit more, but generally at Nordstrom, I walk through and I don't see very much. So today I decided to see if their selection of Farm Rio would be enough to suck me in. Things started off very promising with this jumpsuit. I love this print, and if you do as well, I will link all of these below for you. So I'll include an LTK album with everything I try on here today and my other picks from the Nordstrom website, because not everything is available in store, and your store may be totally different as well. So if you're interested, you might want to click on the links. They are commissionable, but no pressure to buy, of course. Now onto this gorgeous jumpsuit. Editing Cat here. I keep calling this thing a jumpsuit. It's a romper. I know the difference between a jumpsuit and a romper. I've just only gotten 4 hours of sleep. Okay, back to the video. So this is linen. The fabric is gorgeous. The colors pop. As far as sizing, it's a tiny bit short on me, though I think totally workable. But for my tastes, I would want it to be a little bit longer. I am pretty tall, between 5'9" and 5'10", and things like this tend to be somewhat short on me. So for sizing, just keep that in mind. I usually wear a US 12 in a jumpsuit, sometimes a 14, and I chose the XL here, partially because it's a jumpsuit and partially because it's linen. My big rule for Farm Rio is if it's linen, size up. Next up, we have another linen piece, and this one, what really drew me to it was this cool rope detail down the front and as a trim around the edges. I think that this is super cute. I love a fruit motif, and I love a sort of obvious motif like this. I think it's very cute and fun and summery. And I love the colors here. I think that the dark blue, it really is a navy, and the yellow pop so well, and I was just so excited to try this on. The fabrics are really beautiful in person, on this one and the last one as well. I'm not a big linen person. I'm relatively picky about that, and these are soft and comfortable and gorgeous. So I loved this one. Trying this on, I fell in love instantly. I think this is so fun, especially with this detail on the straps. I'm trying on the XL here, and it's perfectly fine. I think it fits really nice throughout, though as you can see there is a little bit of extra room in the bust, which usually happens to me when I have to size up to the XL. But I think the large on this would work for me also because of that rope lace-up detail. As I mentioned before, in Farm Rio linen, I tend to size up by one size, but that is mostly because the linen doesn't have any stretch. And a lot of times Farm Rio pieces on me are really tight across my rib cage. They tend to fit well everywhere but right there. And so that's where I'm sizing up for extra room. Sometimes it results in extra room in the bust or the hips. On this one, I think I could go down to a large as well, because that detail down the front does allow for some size flexibility. Now on to our next one. I had actually seen this one online on the Farm Rio website and was very tempted to order it to try it on. So in this case, I was extremely thrilled to see this one at Nordstrom. So that is definitely a point in Nordstrom's favor. And this dress did not disappoint. The fabric is crisp, wonderful cotton, and the colors are great. The green and white are beautiful, and the entire silhouette is really fun. I will also say that pretty much every item that they had for Farm Rio did have multiple sizes available. So it was very easy for me to select what I was looking for. It didn't feel at all picked over at my store or anything like that. However, the thing that I will emphasize throughout this entire video is that they only had a few Farm Rio pieces. It truly was a fraction in comparison to what Nordstrom has online. So it's not really like you can just stroll through Nordstrom and see a bunch of Farm Rio. You would have to either order it to the store or to your house. Next up, we have this gorgeous slip dress, and this is a silhouette that Farm Rio is offering in several different prints this season. If you like this type of silhouette, they have really cute versions of it, so I would definitely check it out. And I love the colors on this one. I think this is a great summer to fall transition kind of look, and there's a matching cardigan. So of course I had to try these on together. I ended up selecting the large in both of these, which was the correct choice. Again, because any sorts of knits, non-linen things, I go true to size. And speaking of the fabrication on both of these, really comfortable and really a very fun luxe kind of feeling. I think that these are just soft and comfy. They're things that you'll want to wear, and that's awesome when they feel elevated like this, yet you can be really comfortable. And I think that Farm Rio delivers on that quite often. Back to my thoughts on the selection at Nordstrom. I do wish that they had more variety in the store. And I don't know if it's my location that doesn't have as much, so your location may be different and may have a lot more items or completely different items. But there were some items that were online that I wish I could try on in person before buying them, and those were not the ones that were in my store, unfortunately, but that's just how it goes sometimes. I will say, if you have loyalty with Nordstrom, if you have points or if you use their credit card, buying Farm Rio from them might make more sense than shopping from Farm Rio directly. There are also situations where department stores, Nordstrom included, will have Farm Rio pieces that Farm Rio doesn't carry. So they do have elements of their line that aren't on their website. So that would be a huge reason to shop from Nordstrom. And then the last piece that I'm trying today is this fun shirt. It's a mixed print with a very sort of postcard kind of vibe, which I have noticed this type of print has been very popular this summer, and I'm totally here for it. I think that these are nostalgic and fun and genuinely very wearable, so I had to try this one on. It is also linen and gorgeous in person. And as I've shown you throughout this video, they always do such a great job with their attention to detail. Buttons, tassels on the end of ties, different closures. They're always so unique and thought out and specific to that garment. And I think that's one of the main things that elevates Farm Rio and makes it worth the splurge, in my opinion. The silhouette on this one is a bit cropped and it's a little bit boxy. As I'm showing there, it opens relatively easily there on the side. So you would just want to be clear about what you wanted to pair with it. But I think that this is very fun. And again, I think this is one that is much cooler in person than it is in the photos. It looks great when you're there with it, and I don't think it pops as much online, so perhaps that's why they carry this one in the store, and some of the others maybe sell themselves online. Oh, hey there, editing cat here. I was going to do a voiceover outro, and then I was like, you know what? I'll just do it here on camera. I had such a great time trying on those Farm Rio pieces at Nordstrom. I would definitely go back. It is really nice to feel the fabrics in person, try things on, have a better idea of what your size is. So if you've never worn Farm Rio before and you have a Nordstrom that has pieces in it, I would highly recommend that you go try them on first. I think that it's a lot easier to do that than to order a bunch of things that aren't going to work out, especially because a lot of times Farm Rio on their website, when things go on sale, they start to make them final sale, and you can get some great deals that way. I highly recommend it. But you don't want something final sale if you're not sure it's going to work. So stepping into Nordstrom first to try some things on is a great way to go. Just be warned that they aren't going to have everything in the store that they have online, which if you know Nordstrom, you know that's the case. And you can check online before you go in to see which pieces they have, but just know that they may not have the most exciting ones, to be honest. That's my opinion. I think sometimes they stock the store with things that are a little bit more wearable, that are more easy to sell off of the shelves. And some of the more statement pieces do remain online, or some of the more expensive pieces. So if you're eyeing one of those, it may not already be in your Nordstrom store. But as I mentioned before, if you do use Nordstrom loyalty points or something like that, it might make sense to shop through Nordstrom versus through Farm Rio. Or Farm Rio is offered at pretty much every big department store, the higher end ones that offer designer stuff. So Saks, Neiman Marcus has them, Bloomingdale's has them, and then other online only sorts of department stores tend to have it as well. And Anthropologie also carries Farm Rio. Every once in a while, Farm Rio will be in the Anthropologie store, but not all the time. So it's much less reliable than going to Nordstrom to try it on. So if you want to try in person, I would go to Nordstrom. Overall, though, I feel like the variety at Nordstrom, I was a little nonplussed. I would rather shop just on Farm Rio. I also think that if I had to pick, I do think Saks probably has the most interesting selection year over year, but that's a personal preference. But I would definitely go to Nordstrom again to try things on. And it is a great way to figure out if the linen, if you need to size up like I do every time. You may not. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I think overall, once you get the feel of how Farm Rio fits, then you'll know moving forward. But it's hard to know until you know. So let me know, do you shop Farm Rio at Nordstrom? Do you have any other tips? Leave them in the comments for us. Thank you for hanging out with me. And if you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to subscribe. I do also do other things on this channel too, so check some of them out as well. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Bye.